Enough is enough with the small yards and tiny baby trees. You want something better, so let's go out and find it. Well, hello, this is Wendy Pennell, and our mission on this video was to find beautiful trees on sprawling, oversized lots with gorgeous upscale homes, and all of this on a budget of $850,000. Now, we realized this was a tall order, but Blake and I decided we were up for the challenge, so off we went. Now, as we were shopping, we were keeping in mind a few things. First of all, schools are important. We knew chances were that we weren't going to be able to find the absolute best top-notch schools. I mean, Dallas is too much in love with their itty-bitty yards, but at the same time, we knew schools were important, so as we were doing our research, we were constantly comparing and trying to find the best rated schools we could. Secondly, we were closely watching median sales price. We were shopping in the $850,000 range, so we wanted to find homes with median sales prices as close to that as we could. Our first stop took us far north into Collin County, where we checked out Salina. Now, Salina is an absolute gem of a city. The median sales price stands at around $647,500, so we were comfortably close to our price tag of $850,000. Now, we've talked about this in other videos, but basically, if at all possible, you don't want to be the nicest home in a community. Your goal is for there to be nicer homes than yours, bringing your home up in value. So when I hear a median sales price of $647,000, that tells me there are going to be homes nicer than our $850,000 price tag. So what is Salina like? Well, in Salina, you get the feeling of a city in transition. In the past, it was a relaxed country town, but it's growing very rapidly with tons of new construction. So you'll be driving down the street and you see a massive sprawling subdivision. Then further down the street are nothing but open fields. Now, when it comes to education, Salina's schools are reasonably good. Salina ISD earned an A rating from the Texas Education Agency, and half of its schools rank above average. Also, half of Salina's students rate above average or higher. Now, something you should know about Salina is it's actually in two school districts. The southern end is part of Prosper ISD, which has way higher ratings than what you see in Salina ISD. That being said, when we were looking for those oversized yards with the beautiful homes, we were finding those in the Salina ISD side. As for shopping in retail, Salina has a really cute downtown area, but you're going to need to take a quick drive south through Prosper to Highway 380 if you need, your Home Depot, big chain stores, that type of thing. You'll find some strip centers, some of them are relatively new. Lots of mom and pop restaurants. We're talking like Jimbo's Pizza, Salina Star Cafe, all that sort of thing. But as for big shopping, really, and especially your better known chain stores, you need to count on a decent drive. If commuting is an issue for you, downtown Dallas is a full 57 minutes away, and it can be a lot worse in traffic. Now, that being said, Frisco is a pretty significant hub, and if you work there, it's only a 26-minute drive. Plus, being that close to Frisco, you can enjoy your huge backyard in Salina, but still have all the perks of living near the city. Speaking of big backyards, all right, let's go ahead and talk about those homes with acreage. Out of 321 homes sold recently, 27 had acreage. Now, that large of a number of sales in and of itself really speaks to how quickly Salina is growing, and that homes with acreage are really not a part of that growth. If you were to drive up to Salina, you would skip over all the sprawling master plan subdivisions that are so densely populated, because that's not where you're going to find these huge yards, okay? These are more those hidden gems. So what kind of home could you expect to get with at least 4/10 of an acre in the $850,000 range? Well, your average date of construction is going to be around 2005. So you're talking about an 18-year-old home. There's a chance it will need some updating, but you can count on finding at least a few mature trees, right? You'll score a decent sized home on average around 3,018 square foot. You're going to end up on a lot just over an acre in size, and that's going to end up setting you back by around $278 per square foot. From Salina, we headed southeast and across the lake, where we checked in at Heath and McClendon Chisholm. Now, Heath and McClendon Chisholm each have their very own distinct vibe and culture, but they have a lot in common too, because they're in the same school district and they both have to go to Rockwall for their major shopping. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about Heath. Okay, Heath could be a dream destination if you're looking for that home on an oversized lot with a lot of mature trees. It has a median sales price of $828,500, which we really like to see when we're looking in the $850,000 price range. Now, Heath definitely meets your definition of a bedroom community. It's very luxurious and it has beautiful lake views. For the most part, the harbors are privately accessed through country and yacht clubs, so you're not going to see tourists, right? Even though it is right up against the lake. It's a very private community, okay, where every home is very custom and has its own charm. In fact, a lot of Heath is custom built neighborhoods. You're going to find some really unique homes, but you're also going to run into neighborhoods where you have an old home, then a few doors down you'll have like this luxurious, very elegant home, and then a few doors down you'll find like a very casual ranch home. Which, by the way, okay, speaking of that, when you're buying a home, it's always a good rule of thumb to buy within a uniform neighborhood of similar homes. So that really can be a problem with Heath because there is so much customization and age difference. Education is a strong suit in Heath. Students attend Rockwall ISD and the TEA gave it an A rating. Now, greatschools.org states that 79% of students are above average and 47% of their schools score above average. So again, we're not seeing like the very best top schools, but we are still seeing, solid, strong schools. As for shopping and retail, okay, Heath does have its own, Tom Thumb, like for basic groceries, right? But really, you're gonna wanna head to Rockwall for your more robust shopping. It's not a terrible drive though, okay? You're gonna head straight up Ridge Road and it's only like 15 minutes. Rockwall has all your chain stores, shopping centers, restaurants, okay? So you're talking about everything from upscale shopping to restaurants, right to Costco and Walmart. If commuting for work isn't an issue, you'll pretty much find everything you need in Rockwall, and you won't ever have to really cross the lake. Heath is really small, but you still have both the Rush Creek and Heath Golf and Yacht Club. So there's that private access to the lake I mentioned. Now, that being said, you do have access through Terry Park, which is an adorable little park right up against the lake and nestled like deep within the neighborhood. Commuting really isn't bad for Heath, okay? Downtown Dallas is just 40 minutes away, and Rockwall, being, your significant hub, is only like a 15-minute commute. Now, let's talk about homes with, these lush, oversized yards. Out of 67 listings sold in the last 90 days, 40 homes had at least 4/10 of an acre or more. That really tells us how much of Heath is on oversized lots and that you have a decent chance at finding something here. So what kind of home could you expect to get with at least 4/10 of an acre in that $850,000 range? Well, your average date of construction is going to be around 2001. So you're talking about a 22-year-old home. So again, it's probably gonna need some updating, but the trade-off is you're going to find beautiful mature trees. You'll score a decent sized home. You're looking at about like 3,807 square foot, and you're gonna have yourself a nice oversized lot. Okay, we're talking about 0.84 acres. All of that's gonna set you back by about $218 per square foot. Now let's talk about McClendon Chisholm. If you head directly east from Heath, that's where you're gonna find yourself. When I describe the schools and the shopping, it is all exactly the same as Heath. In fact, even though McClendon Chisholm is further inland, it's also 15 minutes from Rockwall, so the same as Heath. Your median sales price here is $560,000. So we're definitely coming in lower than what we saw in Heath. If you were to drive from Heath to McClendon Chisholm, you are gonna feel like you are out in the middle of nowhere. It is like all green space in between. And this is, again, your textbook definition of a bedroom community. You have very little shopping and restaurants. I mean, okay, you do have a Sonic, so if you gotta have that cherry limeade, you're covered there. They do have a few mom and pop restaurants, just like Salina did, right? Just like we saw there. It's a pretty small town, but it still has the Meadow Lane Equestrian Center, the Highland Horses School of Riding, and Shenanigans Stables. So if you or your kiddos are into horses, you've got some seriously good options there. If you're thinking about selection and inventory, in the past 90 days, out of 44 sold homes, 9 had acreage. So what kind of home could you expect to get with at least 4/10 of an acre in the $850,000 range? Well, your average date of construction is going to be around 2017. So you're talking about a 6-year-old home. So this is different so far from what we've been seeing. So like, I don't know if you've been, kind of so far like, hey, Wendy, I'm with you on the bigger backyard, but I need a newer house. Well, McClendon Chisholm might fit the bill. You'll also score a decent sized home. On average, you're going to see around 3,977 square foot. You're going to end up with 1.4 acres, and you're going to end up paying around $215 per square foot. From a commute standpoint, again, you're around 15 minutes from your bigger shopping in Rockwall. But if you need to commute to downtown Dallas, it's going to set you back by almost an hour. Okay, McClendon Chisholm does not have great highway access, and it's really not going to be great from like a commuting standpoint. From McClendon Chisholm, we headed a little bit north and a whole lot of west, all the way across the Metroplex, where we checked in on Keller. Now, Keller is a fantastic choice again for that sprawling yard and mature trees. It has a median sales price of $642,000. So again, we find ourselves closer to that $850,000, okay, which is what we want. You're gonna find that Keller is a very community-oriented place. Has tons of options for outdoor activities. One of those is the Keller Point Recreation Center. Has a lot to offer there, gym, water park, splash pad, really beautiful nature trails. In fact, the city has 11 parks and over 26 miles of hiking and biking trails. Oh, and get this, when the high school football team wins a game, they light up the water tower, okay, so the whole community can celebrate. Education-wise, Keller holds a B rating from the TEA, and 61% of students are ranked above average by great schools. 37% of their schools also score above average. Now, when it comes to shopping and dining, just like Salina and McClendon Chisholm, Keller leans toward mom and pop shops and restaurants over your bigger chain restaurants. Overall, it definitely has way more options than Salina and McClendon. In fairly close proximity, you have like the important stuff. You got Walmart, you got Sam's Club, that kind of thing. From a commuting standpoint, Keller is ideal for someone commuting to downtown Fort Worth. It's just a 27-minute drive. Also, if you work mostly remote, but you travel with work, it's only 25 minutes from the airport. In terms of selection, out of 181 homes that sold in the past 90 days, 56 had acreage. So finding a home with a big backyard in Keller is definitely doable. So what kind of home could you expect to get with at least 4/10 of an acre in the $850,000 range? Well, your average date of construction is going to be around 1995. So you're talking about a 28-year-old home. And that's the oldest so far of all the areas we've looked at. So count on some seriously towering mature trees. But with that, your trade-off is count on some updating needed. You'll score a decent sized home, around 3,175 square foot, and you're gonna end up on a lot of just over an acre, and that's gonna set you back by about $301 per square foot. Now, in all of these videos, we found some gorgeous neighborhoods with top-notch schools, but we weren't able to score the absolute best schools. Now, that being said, if you're in the $1 million price range, slightly higher budget, you can absolutely do that. If you want to see elegant homes on gorgeous lots with the best top-rated schools, you might want to check out this video here. In the meantime, Wendy out.